All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is the ASAP Sports Network, and you are watching another episode of Between the Ropes. We had an awesome episode for you today with Preston Steele, but now we're back because now tonight we're actually going to be talking about the Elimination Chamber. So before we jump into that, of course, let me introduce to you who we have for you tonight. So, of course, we have none other than, that's right, the Dragon Viper. How you doing tonight, brother?
Doing good. How is everyone?
Fantastic. And then, of course, that's right, he's back. We got Mess Around Dave.
What up, guys?
And then the man of few words. That's right, Sergeant Slaughter Jr. We go the Sarge. How's it going there?
Doing great, guys. How you guys doing?
Oh, man, we're doing fantastic, brother. And I'll tell you what, it was actually a pretty good pay-per-view throughout. I mean, some of the matches were kind of up and down, but at the end, I loved it. I don't want to spoil anything, but before we do that, of course, we have to take care of a little bit of housekeeping. So, Nate the Great, why don't you go ahead and pull up that little bit of Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, huh?
Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us, from all of us here at the ASAP Network.
All right. So Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, let me tell you this. When you hear that Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, how many of you have to pick up that cup of water and cool yourself off because you're like, oh, man, that vibe just gets you going on there for that Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. And then, of course, none other than, because we're all men on this show, so we all like our food. And so, of course, when we talk about food, we're like, what's better to go with food than barbecue sauce? Then when you want that toast or whatever in the morning, or even the pancakes or French toast, you got to have that jelly. Well, who makes that awesome barbecue sauce or jelly? That's right, Nate the Great. Go ahead and pull up that little bit of Misty Meadows. Show them how they can get it. That barbecue sauce, gotta have it, gotta love it. And then last but not least, hey, Sarge, tell me, how can you win one of those ASAP Network t-shirts? You know the shirt that Dragon Viper's wearing right now? How can you win one of those shirts?
To win one of those great-looking shirts, all you need to do is be active during the program, like share, like, comment throughout the entire show, like ASAP Sports Network as well, and you can get a free shirt. But if you're too shy to comment, just reach out to one of us, and you can actually buy one of those T-shirts for $14.99, and you'll get it ASAP.
Wait, did you just say $14.99?
That's right, $14.99.
That's even less than $20, man. Like, sometimes you got that $20 bill just laying around in your pocket, and you're like, oh my gosh, man, I want to buy an awesome shirt. Well, guess what? You have one right there, $14.99 plus shipping handling. Now, when you look at that, I understand it says small to 2XL, but here's the thing. Even if you're over a 2XL, you can still get one of those shirts. It's just a couple dollars more, but let us know, and we'll still get you one of those. All right. So now that we're past the housekeeping aspect of it, for those of you who did not get to watch our show today with Mr. Preston Steele on there, the 2-time Hall of Famer, hop back on, check out that show. And now we're back for you again tonight. And so now what we're going to be talking about tonight is we're going to actually be breaking down that Elimination Chamber. And the Elimination Chamber, man, what a way to start the chamber itself with the SmackDown Elimination Chamber. And the winner of that was going on to face Roman Reigns, which is kind of weird because of the simple fact that the winner of that match didn't even get a break. It was once they won the match, it was just right into facing Roman Reigns for that title. That was it. It was just there, and then bam, they were facing it. Now, we did a poll before the actual pay-per-view started. I personally thought that Cesaro was going to win it because I thought that they were going to give him a little bit of push just to give him a title shot, be like, okay, now you have your title shot. Now we can move away from that. I was wrong. I'll eat the humble pie on that one. Dragon Viper, who'd you originally take in that match?
I believe I took Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens, okay. You get to eat some humble pie on that one also. Mess around Dave, who'd you have in that match?
Give me a slice of that humble pie. I'm with you. I had Cesaro.
All right, and then Sarge, who did you have?
A slice. Give me the whole pie. I picked Cesaro as well. He was just built up to win it, but
He was.
oh yeah,
Like, that was actually something that I'm like, really? Cesaro's not going to win it? It actually completely shocked me that Cesaro didn't win it because of the push that they were going to give him. At least give him a title shot, which is what I thought. Now, Brandon's saying that he picked Uso to win that, which, you know, you were close. You were close. When it came down between Uso and Daniel Bryan, I'm like, you know what? This could get interesting. But once it came down to that, I figured that they were going to give it to Daniel Bryan because the only difference, I think really the only thing that could have been worse would have been to have Uso actually win it and then right afterwards, Uso just lay down for Roman Reigns. But that's basically what happened afterwards anyways. After Daniel Bryan won it, you kind of saw that little bit of a squash match. It wasn't even relatively that good. It was basically just Daniel Bryan really quick hitting that yes lock and then Reigns getting out of it and then eventually just ended up choking out Daniel Bryan, which was completely and utterly ridiculous. But Dragon Viper, I'll go ahead and start with you on this one. So you tell me, what was your thoughts on that chamber match?
On the chamber match and the Reigns match, or just the chamber match?
Well, basically, the Reigns match was in with the chamber match. It pretty much was. So you could start with the chamber and then move on to Reigns.
All right. The chamber match I thought was really good. I was shocked Daniel Bryan actually won it. I was hoping that Kevin would get another shot, but really shocked me about Bryan winning. The only thing the only thoughts I have about that Reigns match was I'm disappointed. They should have given the opportunity for a title shot, like later in the night. Would have given, Daniel Bryan a little bit of an opportunity, but, it disappointed me. I was disappointed. We'll just stick with that.
All right, Sarge. Sarge, what was your takeaway?
man, I enjoyed the chamber match a lot. I enjoyed Sami Zayn's antics during the match. I like the fact that how it was time for Sami to come into the chamber, and Cesaro met him inside and just start beating him up inside his own pod. I was actually kind of hoping that someone would go through a pod, but I was a little bit disappointed that did not happen. But you know what? I enjoyed it. It was very exciting, very entertaining, and I was surprised as well as the Planet's champion was winning it. But after that match, I pretty much knew who was going to win, Reigns versus Bryan. It was pretty easy to pick that winner, and there we were.
All right, so it looks like Mess Around Dave is now back. So Mess Around Dave, you tell me, what was your thoughts on this?
I thought the chamber match overall was really good. There's a lot of good spots in there, like Sarge said, with Sami Zayn in the pod and Cesaro meeting him on the other side. Kevin Owens going out the top was pretty cool. I had Cesaro like you did winning it and disappointed he didn't win. And then the Reigns match, can we even call it that?
No.
Not really.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, let me tell you one thing that I was honestly surprised about. In this match, you actually saw Jey Uso get a clean win over Kevin Owens, like a clean pin. And I'm like, wow, you're going to have Uso actually pin Kevin Owens. That is interesting. So do you think, because you saw that happen in the match, do you think, because obviously we know now that after that happened between Reigns and Daniel Bryan, you saw Edge come in and spear Reigns, and then Edge at that point was like Mania. So we know now that Edge is going to take on Roman Reigns, which, mess around, you called that. But now, because we know that Edge is taking on Roman Reigns, do you think that this could be to where it's building up to be Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso? And mess around, Dave, I'll start with you on that. Do you think it could be a build-up?
Well, it makes sense because he has nothing else going on for Mania, so it's a perfect match for the two. They both need something to work with at Mania, so it totally makes sense to have them feud with each other, even if it's just for Mania.
Sarge, what do you think? You think it could be a build-up, Jey Uso versus Kevin Owens?
I think so, because Uso banged up Owens, like with his arm being smashed with the door there. Yeah, Owens is going to be mad. Owens is getting ready to come back out, and I think it'll probably be maybe a non-disqualification match when those two actually do fight.
All right, Dragon Viper.
I totally agree. I think they're building it up for Owens and Uso. They want, they want Owens to, still try and be up at the top there, and who else to go against except the head of the tables, Cousins. So, and that way it would be one-on-one and see if Uso can actually beat Owens.
Now going back on that for a second to where it said, do you think Edge would win the title at Mania? Going back on that, I will say I think he wins the title at Mania. I don't want to give any spoilers about what happened tonight, but I will get into why I think Edge will win the title now at Mania later on in the show. So we actually saw the last two participants, like I was saying, was Jey Uso and Daniel Bryan, which was kind of interesting. I thought that it was going to actually be Jey Uso and Cesaro, at least at the end, or Jey Uso and Kevin Owens actually would have been great at that point. To me, just having Daniel Bryan basically win it and then have a squash match against Reigns, it really didn't make any sense. It made no sense to me whatsoever. But I thought that the match was, it was a decent match. I enjoyed it. I just wish that they would have had Reigns in the match. But, what can you do? It's the direction that the WWE is going. And I would say I didn't like that direction, but hey, to each his own, I guess, right? All right, and then, of course, we go into the next match of the night, which the next match of the night is the women's tag team match, I do believe, which we all said that, well, I think we were split on this, okay? I think half of us said that Sasha and Bianca were going to win, and then half of us said no, that Nia and Shayna were going to retain. And I'll start out with that. My prediction was I said that Nia and Shayna were going to retain. So I was accurate on that. Dragon Viper, what did you pick on that one?
I picked Nia and Shayna were going to retain.
All right. Mess around.
I had Nia and Shayna also. Yeah, I can thank you.
Yeah, I had Nia and Shayna retaining. The only reason I say that because it would, like, if Bianca and Banks would have won it, it would have been like the same exact storyline that Charlotte and Asuka just got done with. I mean, I just couldn't see them repeating that story that quick.
Exactly.
Yeah, but too, I could have, even though I picked Nia and Shayna to win the match, I honestly thought that maybe this is when they were going to lose the belts. And the reason why I said that is because I thought at some point, you're going to see a match set up for Nia versus Shayna. I thought that at some point, I thought that's the direction that this was going. But apparently that wasn't happening today. Is it going to happen at Fastlane? I don't know. It very well could. And this match, when you look at this match, it was a good match only because of Sasha and Bianca. That's the only reason it was a good match. We all know that Nia botches a lot of stuff.
A whole lot.
Yes, a whole lot. Nia is like the queen of botches. And then Shayna just, I don't know, she's just one of those brutes. Like she's just really, really strong. That's what she does. Was it a good match? I mean, only because of Sasha and Bianca. The ending was an okay ending, but mess around. I'll go ahead and I'll start with you on this one. So tell me, what was your opinion on this match?
Hey, it was a good match. Like you said, the only reason it was any good is because of Sasha and Belair. I don't know about you guys, but I'm watching this match and I'm sitting there waiting for either Banks or Belair to turn on one or the other because they had that match coming up at Mania. I was disappointed that didn't happen.
Oh, about what now?
Well, I was sitting there waiting. I'm sitting there going, one of these two is gonna turn on the other and cost them the match between Belair and Banks because they have a match at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed that didn't happen.
All right, Sarge.
Yeah, I wasn't, like I said, I don't think that none of them would have turned on each other. I just think it was an okay match. The ending was a little bit tacky, I thought, for a chamber match, but oh well.
But that one wasn't a chamber match. That was just a tag team match.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Tag team.
Yeah, that was just a straight up. That was just a tag team match, but it was her typical leg drop to end it. That's pretty much what it was, because that's what Nia does to end the matches. She has her typical. It's not like the Hulk Hogan leg drop. It's more of the butt and the leg drop is pretty much what it was. And
Funny,
so
we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just interesting that they pinned Bianca and Sasha because really the direction of this match to me was personally interesting because you have both people at this point. I think both tag teams are going for something. You're going to eventually see a rivalry between Shayna and Nia. And then you're going to see maybe Bianca chooses Sasha, maybe. And so at some point you're like, okay, neither one of them need a loss at this point. But one of them was going to get it. So I thought that maybe they could have made it like a DQ, a double countout, something. Because by somebody losing, it kind of makes it look, I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't think any of them at this point needed a loss. So Dragon Viper, you go ahead and tell me your thoughts on this.
No, I wasn't too impressed. I was happy that, Jackson Baszler won, but other than that, I wasn't really too impressed. I'm trying to figure out what exactly is going on with Carmella's bodyguard person that she has around. He's been hanging around Sasha, so I'm trying to figure out what they're trying to do with them. But other than that, with the match, I was not too impressed, except was happy who the winners were. So
it's mind games, bro. It's mind games. That's what I'm telling you. Like, he's trying to get in the head of Sasha Banks, so Carmella at some point, can kind of sneak in there and take that title away. So, but with this match that you saw today, with this tag team match, I know we didn't see any turns like we said, but is this the point to where maybe you see, because Bianca and Sasha lost, that one of them are going to get angry with each other on SmackDown, and then you're going to end up seeing Sasha either turn on Belair or Belair turn on Sasha, and then you're going to end up seeing Belair against Sasha at Mania and mess around? I'll go ahead and start with you on that. Because they lost, you think that's going to happen?
I think win or lose, I think that's the direction they were going to go anyways. Because it makes sense. They're both really athletic, and I think they can tell a great story in the ring against each other. And it'd make for a good match.
So Warren Marlowe, and I'm sorry if I pronounced your last name wrong, but Warren Marlowe is saying that he believes it's going to be a triple threat match, and it's going to be Carmella and Sasha against Belair. Well, he said maybe Belair, but I think it'll be Belair because I think that that's the direction it's going to go. We don't know what's going to happen with Asuka yet, and so just in case nobody heard, originally it was supposed to be Asuka versus Lacey Evans at the Elimination Chamber, but because Lacey Evans is actually pregnant in real life, okay, she actually is pregnant, so they had to pull her out of this match. And originally they were going to be like, okay, we're going to put Asuka against just a surprise, but they ended up scrapping that match, so it actually never happened. So, Sarge, going back to this for a second, what do you think with Bianca and Sasha? With this loss, what do you think it's going to do?
I can see Sasha turning on Belair because that's kind of Sasha's MO in the past when she was feuding with Bayley and so forth. But I can honestly see a triple threat match happening, and I think it would probably be a good triple threat match because Carmella actually upped her wrestling game since her absence. So I'm okay with a triple threat match between those two right there. And with that, Lacey Evans versus Asuka, I'm wondering, the reason that they pulled that match, I'm wondering if it was actually Lacey Evans that was supposed to win the title tonight.
It could be. It very well could be, because I think what you could have seen is you could have seen Lacey Evans win the belt and then go on to face Charlotte at WrestleMania, because that's usually what's going to happen. You know, it's crazy that you almost see Charlotte Flair every year at some point, headline at some point WrestleMania, so you probably would have saw it again this year. But Dragon Viper, tell me, what do you think with this Sasha and Belair?
I see Sasha turning on Belair. I see them trying to become friends because now that I think about it, no, I would actually probably see Belair turning on Sasha because they become friends. I see them being friends, and then all of a sudden playing, mind games as Reginald's trying to do with Sasha. I could see Belair playing mind games and then turn on Sasha to, get to Sasha or Sasha's mind so that Belair could try and win that title. And if it happens, then I could see Belair winning it.
Well, now to answer Brandon's question for a second here, because he said, was it a surprise that WWE is not playing that Flair is the father? They are playing that. They are playing that line right now. That's what they're doing. In the storyline, they're saying that Ric Flair is the father. And there's actually people out there that are actually believing it, which I think is completely and utter ridiculous, because it's not really – if you actually believe that Ric Flair is the father, I mean, come on now. He's not really the father. It's actually her husband and her that are having the baby, not Flair and her. So just keep in mind that's actually a storyline for the people out there that truly believe that Ric Flair's the father. Definitely not. But okay, so we touch on that match. So now we're going to jump into the next match, which the news before the pay-per-view started was that Keith Lee ended up getting pulled from this match due to injury. Now, this was like right before the pay-per-view. And then they had a match on. It was the pre-show. They had a match on there that said that the winner of that was going to be inserted in the triple threat match, and that we ended up seeing that it was John Morrison who won that triple threat match. So John Morrison was entered into that triple threat, and it ended up being John Morrison and Bobby Lashley and then Matt Riddle. So on this one, I'll tell you, I ended up eating some humble pie on that one because Bobby Lashley, I said, was going to keep the title because I really thought that they were going to build him up. Dragon Viper, who did you have winning this match?
I think I had Morrison. I don't remember, but I think it was Morrison.
Well, now keep in mind, though, before when we did the poll, we didn't know that Morrison was going to be in this match. So at the time, it was Keith Lee still.
I said
Keith Lee was still in that match.
I said Lee.
Okay, so you did say Lee, okay? Mess around, Dave. Who did you have in this match?
I had my boy, Matt Riddle, bro.
Matt Riddle, bro. All right. Sarge.
Yeah, I had Matt Riddle. I was just looking at the polls. I definitely had Matt Riddle winning this one.
Yeah, to me, I didn't think that Matt Riddle was going to win this one because I thought that they were going to build up Lashley more. But then what I saw at the end of the pay-per-view, which we'll jump into that later, now it kind of makes sense why they went the direction that they did. But overall, it was actually a pretty dang good match. This was actually one of the best matches of the night, I thought. Even though Lashley was in it, that's really hard for me to say because when Lashley's in a match, like, man, Lashley in a good match, no, I get it because he doesn't do much. All he has is the hurt lock. That's pretty much about it. That's all he does. And then he does the power slam and really nothing else. But overall, it was a good match, huh?
Don't forget the suplex.
Oh yeah, I forgot the suplex. But overall,
he's got three.
Overall, it was a good match, though. It was a good match. I was okay with Matt Riddle winning because Bobby Lashley had the belt for a very, very long time, and we knew he was going to have to lose it. But I thought he was going to lose it at Mania, and I thought it was going to be Keith Lee. I really did. But I thought it was going to happen at Mania. But Sarge, I'll go ahead and start with you on this match. What was your thoughts?
Oh, I enjoyed this match immensely with it, man. I enjoyed when Riddle took the crutch and start hitting Bobby Lashley. And I was surprised that crutch broke in half. Like, it just splattered everywhere. I was surprised about that. And like, I do like Bobby Lashley. I think he's a great athlete and so forth. And I think he has more than 3 moves. So that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it with her. But I'm glad to see Matt Riddle finally win it, bro. But yeah, it was a great match. I kind of wish I would see Lee in it, but you know what? Morrison picked up what needed to be picked up. He did great as well.
Now, Warren, to answer your question here that you just posted in the comments, I know they're not burying Lashley. I didn't mention that they were burying him. I did not say that. What I'm saying, though, is that I was shocked that he lost the match. However, once I saw the ending of the Chamber, then it made sense to me why he lost it. But it did not make sense why he did originally. But now it does make sense, which I will touch on later. And I'll wait for that aspect. So, Dragon Viper, you tell me what your thoughts was on this match.
I thought it was a good match. I was shocked that Lashley did lose the title, but I'm not happy that Riddle won it. I think John Morrison's more deserving over, with winning the title than Riddle. Morrison's done more. He should have won it. Not really pleased with that, but overall it was a good match.
All right, mess around.
You're killing me, Dragon Viper. You're killing me, man. Not really totally deserve it, bro.
No.
He's nothing coming. He's going to be a star. Anyways, I thought the match was really good. I like how Morrison and Riddle tried to team up and take Lashley out, and even that didn't work. I was fine with the ending. Lashley didn't take the loss. He lost his title. We wouldn't involve in pinfall, so they still kept him looking strong that way.
Yeah, so we do have Warren that's saying he's not a fan of Riddle at all. And honestly, I've never really been a fan of Riddle. I'm not a fan of Lashley. I'm not really a fan. Like, I like the in-ring skills of Riddle and Morrison, but I've never really been a big overall fan of them. I don't know. It's just something about them that I don't like. But I was still okay with this outcome because it was somebody new to have the title. That's why I was okay with it. But I do think that Riddle's going to only hold the title until Mania, and I think he's going to end up losing it at WrestleMania. I don't think he's going to hold it for a really, really long time.
I hope not.
Well, of course, you hope not. You don't want him to hold it for a
That's
long
the guy who doesn't like anybody.
Yeah, I think I can count on one hand how many wrestlers you actually like, because almost every show you're like, yeah, I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like him. So I think I can count on one hand how many of them you actually like.
Are all of them Goldberg?
Oh man. I think Tom Brady has more Super Bowl rings than you actually like wrestlers. But and it's kind of interesting though too. I was going to mention it today too on our other episode, not to get too far off topic here for a second, but I was going to mention to when Preston Steele was on, I was going to mention about how Dave's his favorite wrestlers back then were actually Dink and Doink, but I was going to go away from that for a second. All right, but going on to the pay-per-view even more, talking about it now, we'll get off of that match for a second, and then I think the next match of the night was actually the Raw, if I remember, it was actually the Raw Elimination Chamber match. I was completely wrong. Like, I wasn't even close in this match because personally, I came out and I said that I thought that Randy Orton was going to win this match, and that was only because I thought at the end, which never happened again, I thought that the Fiend was going to come out, actually help Orton win the match, and then Orton would go on and face the Fiend at WrestleMania for the title. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen. But boy, was I wrong, because as we saw, Randy Orton was the first man eliminated in the match. I was not expecting that at all. And then once he was eliminated, he just started RKOing everybody that was in there. And so that was just crazy. But the overall, the match overall, I actually liked. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought that, and I can never pronounce his name right, but I think it's Omos, or almost, or whatever his name is.
Almost.
When he went up and ripped the plexiglass out of the pod, and then AJ Styles actually walked around and got in, which it was actually pretty smart because he knew if he would have jumped in, he was going right to an RKO there with Randy Orton. So it was kind of smart that he ran around, came back in, tried to capitalize, and pin Kofi and Corbin at the time. It just didn't work out. So, Dragon Viper, I'll start with you on this one. Tell me, what was your thoughts on this match?
My thoughts on this match, it was a really good match. Sheamus did really well in there. I thought there were some good spots in it. Other than that, I was shocked that Orton didn't win. I actually also saw Orton winning it. And yet, like you said, he was first out, which was kind of weird. I actually didn't expect McIntyre to win this match, but he did. So, overall, a really good physical match.
You picked Orton, right?
Yes.
You had Orton to win the match? Okay. Mess around. Who did you have in this match?
The Viper.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Sarge? Who'd you have?
Have 3 letters in wrestling, RKO.
RK, it's kind of interesting. So almost everybody had the Dragon Viper winning this match, except Brandon Herrera said that he had Drew winning this match. And guess what? Drew McIntyre ended up winning the match. And it came down to Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles. The ending of it, I thought, was kind of interesting. AJ Styles jumping over the top ropes, going for that phenomenal forearm, and Drew McIntyre, bam!
Claymore kick.
Claymore kick right in it. And then, last but not least, I've been waiting to say this because this made my night. As soon as Drew McIntyre won, I'm like, please, for the love of God, please have The Miz come down and cash in. I wanted to see it so bad. I'm like, please cash in. And then this is when it finally made sense. This is when the whole Bobby Lashley thing made sense. Because then Bobby Lashley came out and attacked Drew. And then I'm like, oh, this could actually happen. Once he came out and attacked him, I knew exactly what was going to happen. I'm like, here it comes. Here it comes. The Miz is going to come down and cash in. And he came down and cashed in, and he won the championship, which to me now what it's looking like, I think you're going to end up seeing possibly a triple threat match at Mania now. Lashley, McIntyre, and The Miz. I think you might end up seeing that triple threat match. All right, so mess around. What was your thoughts on this match?
You deserve it. The Miz deserves the title.
Thank you.
Give it back to him. The guy's 9 in, 9 out, performs better than most any wrestler on the roster. What he's done for the company, he deserves another shot. And I'm glad he finally was able to cash in and get it. The match itself was really good. I thought my favorite spot was when Sheamus came out and you saw Sheamus and Drew go at it for a while. And the other guys tried to get involved. They just threw him aside and kept fighting. But yeah, overall, this chamber match was excellent.
Yeah, The Miz is one of those guys that just deserved the championship for so long, and he finally got it. It's hard to believe that the dude is a one-time WWE champion, and it's been a long – I want to say it's been like close to 10 years or so that he's even had it. It's been a long time since he's had it. And what?
He should have won the first time.
No, Brandon is saying that The Miz is overrated. And I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding.
Wow.
Dragon Viper, you do not sit up there and you do not shake your head. You do not shake your head about The Miz being overrated. Because you know what? That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard if you sit there and tell me that The Miz is overrated. Because he is not overrated. He's one of the best workers in the business. All The Miz does whatever the WWE asked him to do, and all they've done for years on The Miz is absolutely take a crap on Miz. That's what they've done for so many years. They've finally given The Miz something he deserves, but the bad part is he's going to probably only hold it until Mania. But at least he gets a title run. I mean, come on. At least he deserves it. I just really hope that they don't have him lose it at Fastlane. That would be complete and utter ridiculous if they had him lose it at Fastlane.
Agreed.
So, Sarge, tell me, what was your thinking on this?
Well, before the match, you saw The Miz talking with the MVP, so I already knew what was going to happen at the end of the match with that. I kind of put 2 and 2 together. But you know what? I was surprised how long Jeff Hardy stayed in that match. He just laid on the ground and played possum the whole time. He didn't move. He really did not do anything except for 2 spots, jumping off the pod and doing a swanton. I mean, he kind of pulled a Goldberg right there, or a Dallas Cowboys quarterback. I don't know, but with that,
again.
But you know, I prefer the SmackDown Chamber match a lot better than the Raw one. But I did like the ending spot where Drew McIntyre hit Styles in the air with the Claymore. I thought that was a great move right there. And I was surprised that Orton was out pretty fast during this match. But I can see a fatal 4-way happening for Mania. For this
Wow.
match. Also, I smell Brock Lesnar somewhere. I just smell him somewhere.
You smell Brock Lesnar coming out of somewhere.
coming out
He's
somewhere.
coming out of somewhere.
He's coming out somewhere.
No, and you know what? That's kind of what I thought too. At the end of Chamber, what I was thinking about is I'm like, and until I saw Lashley, I thought that maybe Lesnar was going to come out and do a bunch of F5s to McIntyre, and that's when the Miz would come out and cash in or something. But I didn't see Lashley doing it. But now it all makes sense. Now it really, really does make sense. And so Warren actually had a comment that said the hardest worker in WWE, and no, they didn't. He was doing a bunch of side gigs. Plus, Miz was a guy that never had to win a title to be relevant. In my opinion, he was the realest heel. Well, the Miz has always been an excellent heel, but it doesn't matter what he does, heel, face, or anything. He's phenomenal at what he does. Okay, I'm not going to use phenomenal because that's AJ Styles. So I don't want to take that away because the phenomenal AJ Styles was in this match and he did the phenomenal AJ Styles stuff. And oh man, I was hoping he was that close to winning it. It was that close. I would like to see the belt back on AJ Styles again. Overall, when we look at the Elimination Chamber overall, and I'll start with Sarge on this one. If you had to give the Elimination Chamber a grade on this one, how would you grade it?
If it wasn't for 2 matches, I would give it a solid A, but I would give it a high B. The 2 chamber matches kind of tied the show together, of course, but they were really good, and they really didn't need the other other matches go on. In my opinion, I could just watch a chamber match all night.
It was and actually, the pay-per-view actually wasn't very long. It was not as long as I thought it was going to be. Once it hit that 3-hour mark, I'm like, it's done. Because the last match was there, and then the Miz won, and it was over, and I'm like,
Yes, it's almost
wait, it's over.
now.
I was expecting a few more matches, but
It's almost 10 o'clock, Eddie.
all right. So then we're looking at this, and so Dragon Viper, I'll go to you, and you tell me what was your overall grade for Elimination Chamber?
I'd have to give it a C+.
What?
Yep. Because of the results of a couple matches and the females tag match wasn't really that interesting, so I'd have to give a C+.
Sarge, you gotta understand this, okay? We're talking to Dragon Viper, who basically likes maybe 2% of the entire roster, okay? Maybe 2 to 3% of the roster, and so it doesn't even matter who freaking wins. Because no matter who wins, he's going to be like, well, I got to give it a C because, this person won. It's because he doesn't really like anybody out there. So it's hard to ever please this guy. It really is.
Not that difficult. Not at all.
No, it is hard to please you. We've gone over this so many times. We disagree on so many wrestlers that I'm like, this is ridiculous.
That right there, yes.
All right, mess around. I'm going to go to you. What grade do you give the Elimination Chamber?
I'm gonna give it a B, and only because I was fine with Randy Orton being eliminated first, but the way that he was taken out with the cheesy roll-up pin, that was so lame. Wow, that took out Orton. Okay.
Well, now don't forget though, that's known to happen to him in the chamber matches because if you remember several years back when he lost in a roll-up pin again, and I believe it was when Jack Swagger was still with the company, and he lost in a roll-up pin to Jack Swagger.
He also did it at SummerSlam to McIntyre too.
Yeah, and you were always like, "What? Really? Really? He's going to lose with a roll-up?" Because it tends to always happen to him, and I don't know why, but to him, he loses to the weirdest ways. So when we talk about grading this one, we can't even talk about Dragon Viper's grade on this one because it doesn't count. Okay, his
No,
grade is
it doesn't, my friend.
completely and utterly ridiculous. Okay, so we don't even count his grade. But I am going to ask for all of our viewers out there that are leaving comments. I want you to put in the comment section. Do you give the pay-per-view an A, B, C, D, or would you give it an F? So go ahead and put it out in the comments, and we will pull those up. And if you got to see the pay-per-view, or if you didn't get to see it and you're listening to us break it down now, you tell me kind of just based off of what you're hearing, what you would give the overall grade. So we have Nate who's saying a B. It looks like a B plus. Yep, a B plus. I'm saying a B minus. So it looks like the overall grades that people want to give out right now is right around the B mark, which is about, I'd say it's about average right now for about the proper grade because I don't want to give it an A. I really don't. That was only because of the few matches that were in there that I'm like, they didn't really need to be in there. But overall, I give it a solid B. I'll give it that. All right. So now that we know the Chamber's done, the next pay-per-view is Fastlane. Before we wrap up the show, I want to see what some of your predictions are going to be for Fastlane. What is something that sorry, I just read a comment on the side. That was funny. Nate, please pull up Warren's comment on the side. I give Dragon Viper.
You deserve it.
Yes.
Looks like my grade in high school. Thank you.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Okay, so now we're going to go on to just pick some few predictions about Fastlane since the Chamber just ended. We're going to go ahead, and on this one, I'll start with Sarge. So give me a few predictions for what you think you might see happen at Fastlane.
Somehow, Bad Bunny is getting involved with The Miz because that storyline is still going on with those guys. So I think I don't see Miz losing the title, but I see that Bad Bunny can be interfering somehow during a match. Also, like I said, I smell Lesnar. I smell him. So he's going to be coming out.
You think it's happening at Fastlane?
David, I'm not playing with you.
Probably, because they got to get those viewerships up. I mean, why not?
It's almost 10 o'clock.
All right. So, Dragon Viper, you tell me, what do you see happening at Fastlane? And please, okay, tell me, what do you think?
All right, what I think.
It doesn't matter what you think.
You know what? Ace.
Every time.
Okay, so Dragon Viper, you tell me.
Okay, Fastlane, I see The Miz losing his title, and I see Matt Riddle losing his title.
What?
And I see, I see probably Big E defending his title and retaining it. That's what I see. You asked my opinion,
Wow.
I gave it to you.
I can't. I just can't do it. Wow. That's all I got to say. Wow.
That was a Bikram yoga stretch right there. Like, that's how far. That was a Bikram yoga stretch.
The world of ridiculousness.
That was crazy. A Bikram yoga. That's what I'm going to go with right there. So, mess around. You tell me, what do you think is going to happen at Fastlane?
The Miz will retain his title. Randy Orton probably feud with Kofi before Mania before he goes to the Fiend because Kofi pinned him in the Chamber. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
So you have nothing exciting happening at Fastlane, huh?
No, I'm not really excited for Fastlane. It's like the lamest pay-per-view before the big ones, and they're never any good. So
Well, they're generally not. It's just basically just a build up to where you're going to see a few feuds start at Fastlane or some kind of surprising thing happen at Fastlane, and maybe. Never mind. I'm not going to go into detail on what Dragon Viper said because that was complete and utterly ridiculous. But
that threw my whole
You asked my
thing off with
opinion.
this little thing.
You asked
I
my
asked
opinion.
your opinion, man, but I didn't think your opinion was going to be way the frick out there in left field, okay? I didn't think that it was going to go that far out there.
That's how I see it.
High and outside.
Wow.
I'm glad you're not a writer for the WWE.
Just a little outside. Oh, I would love to be a writer for the WWE. I got so many ideas brewing up here that I would love to throw out there.
Me
And-
too.
So let me ask you a question really, really quick about this because this is what I was curious about. So you guys remember back to Raw, right? When Strowman came out and said, if you don't put me in the chamber match, bad things are going to happen. Well, nothing happened.
He
So
wasn't even involved.
So what's up with that? Like, I'm looking at that going, I'm confused now. Where's that going? Because nothing ever panned out.
He
Nothing ever
wasn't
happened.
even there.
Is Pat Day open? Why?
So I'm not even sure what that whole thing was about. I mean, do you kind of maybe see Strowman getting involved at some point? I mean,
Do you wish me this in your mom tomorrow?
I don't know.
I
But-
can,
Huh?
I can see Strowman getting involved. I think we're going to maybe see more tomorrow night on Raw.
Okay. I could see that getting. I don't know with the Miz yet. I don't want to say that. Maybe. You know what, Dave? And we've talked about this before, and I know that this is one of your favorite matches. And maybe, just maybe, they'll do it at Mania. I don't think they would. Maybe they would, but think about the championship scramble. Think about the championship scramble. We've talked about this. That would be amazing to have at Mania.
Yeah, but that's one of my favorite matches of all time. I'd love to see that come back.
Yeah, and so Warren has now named our next segment that we get to do with Dragon Viper, and we get to call it Storytelling 101. So just so everybody knows that there's some stories that are going to be going crazy out there. Personally, there's going to be some crazy stories. But heck no. All right, so he's saying heck no with the whole Strowman thing going on here. All right. So with the next thing, that's pretty much all I've got for you tonight. So I'll go around one more time, give everybody any last thoughts that they have, anything coming up that they might see happen or whatever. It doesn't matter. Just throw anything out there. Mess around, Dave. I'll start with you on this one. You tell me.
I don't see a whole lot happening until Mania. I really don't. Maybe like Sarge said, Brock coming back. I'd love to see CM Punk come back, but I don't think that's going to happen. Wishful thinking.
All right, Sarge, any final remaining thoughts?
I'm excited for WrestleMania to come. Also, there's a comment by Warren Marlowe I kind of want to know a little bit more of, saying that he used to be a wrestler. So I kind of want to know a little bit more about that.
I used to be a wrestler, and I know too much. And doink, the sound was terrible. No, there's a whole story. So the reason why I said dink and doink, there's a story behind the dink and doink thing. It doesn't pertain to the whole actually him liking Doink the Clown. There's just a story behind it because of his favorite football team. So that's why I said his favorite wrestler. So that's why I said that.
I can't believe you went there. I hate you right now.
All right. So, all right. Okay, well, all right. I guess I'll give it over to Dragon Viper one more time. So, Dragon Viper, tell me your last thoughts, whatever is happening.
My last thoughts, well, just simply thank you for everybody watching the show. You know, I do disagree a lot with everybody else, a lot.
Understatement.
but you know, I'm just being me. I'm being honest, and you know, I wouldn't, you know, try and fit in. I never tried. So, just me being honest. And thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.
Well, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be your producer now, and so I'm going to start writing you a script and handing you the script. No, I'm just kidding, man. But for everybody out there, and yes, Warren, if you were an ex-wrestler or whatever it would be, if you wrestled for a while, you know, hit us up, let us know, because we always have guests on our show. We try and get as many either older wrestlers or newer wrestlers on our show as we can. If you did not get a chance to watch it today, Warren, we actually had Preston Steele on our show. So if you get a chance to watch it, go back on and watch that. It was a great show. And for anybody who wants to watch it, go check it out under our website on Facebook, and I think you'll really enjoy it. You can even watch it on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and pretty soon we'll actually be debuting on another platform, which I don't want to throw out yet. Everybody will know about that soon. Other than that, our very last thing that we have to touch on is Anchor. So, Nate, go ahead and pull up some Anchor here so I can quickly explain some Anchor and tell you, if you want to be just like us, where we come on and we talk about various things, you're like, how can I do that? Guess what? Anchor is a brilliant way to start. Anchor will give you step-by-step instructions on how to become a podcaster. It's really, really easy. And over time, you start making a little bit of money. You don't make a ton, but you do make a little bit. Okay, and then going away from that, Sarge, one more time, tell me, how can you make one of those, or how can you get one of those awesome ASAP Network t-shirts?
Well, if you're like Warren Marlowe, all you have to do is comment, interact during the show, like and share it, and join all the other shows on ASAP. You have a chance to win a free ASAP t-shirt. If you're too shy to even comment, just reach out to one of us, and you can get one of those t-shirts for $14.99. It'll be delivered to you ASAP. ASAP shirt, you get it ASAP. All right, of course. All right, so with that being said, I hope everybody has a fantastic night. And guess what? We will see you tomorrow for an episode of Real Talk, and then after Real Talk tomorrow is Sports Corner. So I hope everybody has a fantastic night, and we will see you again next week, though. Next week, we actually have another special guest coming on. He's known by none other than the Wild Thing, Rob Wilds. So be ready for that. We have not announced the time yet. Once the time is announced, I'll let everybody know. So tune in for that. It's going to be a kicking show. So everybody have a fantastic night, and we will see you again.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're eyeing the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.